folks, Rick here. I'm back with another video. I know it's been a while since I did one of my podcasts, but I figure let's jump into it right now and see what's going on in the world of tech. If I sound a little echoey, I am in my bathroom because I have people over, and this is the only quiet spot in my house, so I'm filming this video from the bathroom. So yes, that's where I am. So real quick, I wanted to get into, in a way, I don't want to brag, but I kind of do. In one of my other podcasts that I've done, when the Note 7 first came out, something told me just not to get it. Now, I was upset with Samsung because the Note 7 was the Note 7 was a carbon copy of the Galaxy S7 Edge, which was a carbon copy of the Galaxy S6. So basically, for the past 2 to 3 years, Samsung came out with an amazing design with the S6, but in typical fashion, what Samsung usually does is they follow suit of Apple, which I think is a losing proposition for them, and they tried to make 2 or now even three models that look almost identical to the last model. And I think for a flagship manufacturer to stay relevant, they need to up the ante with design with every new flagship that comes out every year. Change the design enough where you could distinguish the difference between last year's model and this year's model. And in addition to that, the Note 7 had the same identical specs, just with a few more gimmicks thrown in there, compared to the Galaxy S7 Edge, which I'm filming on now, and it's been my daily driver since I purchased it or pre-ordered it. I'd say about 7-8 months ago. With that being said, so if you haven't heard in the news, right here, Samsung had put out a recall for anyone that had the Note 7. The recall when all the manufacturers accepted back the first Note 7, and they gave you a new Note 7. It's supposed to be an updated Note 7 that fixed the issue and fixed the problem. And it had a little green icon at the top of the screen. I don't know if you're looking at my screen. My battery icon is actually gray or white, gray, dark gray to determine the amount of battery I have left. That icon would reflect green, and that green icon will let you know that you have a safe battery for the Galaxy Note 7. But hey guys, guess what? Those safe batteries started blowing up as well. So I think this is just overall corporate greed. I do like Samsung products. I'm not an Apple fanboy. Predominantly, most of my devices have been Samsung products. Even if I get pissed off at them, I always wind up going back to Samsung products because I do like a lot of the features that TouchWiz offers that a lot of the other manufacturers don't offer. And now with Nougat coming out, one of the biggest features was the multi-window and multitasking features that's standard on Nougat. So moving forward, I might not necessarily have to stick with Samsung, because that was one of the key features that I really liked with the Samsung devices they've had for a while, was that multi-window dual functionality at one time. So now recall came out again. Samsung has confirmed that the Note 7 is dead. So you're supposed to return all your Note 7 devices. You're supposed to power it down, return it. They put this really elaborate box where it has like a thermal pack in it. It's like super elaborate just in case it blows up, that it doesn't like set whatever aircraft or wherever they're sending it to on fire in the meantime. I do work in the airline industry, and we have been making announcements in regards to the Note 7 that if you have one, you need to power it down. You're not allowed to charge it on board an aircraft. You're not allowed to check it in your luggage. So a lot of restrictions surrounding the Note 7. So basically, all in all, this is going to cost Samsung billions of dollars. It already, their market share has gone down. I think they lost somewhere in in the range of like $30 billion in just market share over this debacle. So yeah, because of that, one of the other rumors I'm hearing, and I don't know if it's on an article here, one of the other rumors I'm hearing that they're going to actually push up the launch date of the Galaxy S8 from usually late April, I think early May, before it's actually in the hands of consumers, to March. I think it would be wise for them to actually push it up actually a lot earlier. And unfortunately, with this issue and this debacle, other than the money, I think it's going to kill the Note brand. The Note brand has been tainted now because of all the bad press about Samsung and these Note devices, that I don't think we'll no longer see any more Note devices. They might rebrand it and it might just be the next generation of the Note, but I doubt we'll see the Note branding moving forward on any new Samsung devices. So that's kind of sad in a way, but not to say I told you so, but I fucking told you so. Again, Samsung's chief operating officer has apologized for the fiasco. I think they're also giving a full refund. In addition to the refund, they're giving $100 on top of that. And Amazon has also promised anyone that purchased products, cases, anything to do with the Note 7, they will allow a full refund past the 30-day refund period because of what's going on here. I do have a case for the Note 7, which I never purchased, just to review so I can show you guys what it looks like. And I will be returning that for my $15 refund, because I'm going to take advantage of that whole return policy. So other things in the news that I wanted to discuss with you guys, your thoughts. So let me see, let me go back to these tabs. Hold on 1 second. So basically, in a lot of my podcasts, I've been mentioning the Asus Zenfone 3 Deluxe. Now, I've been mentioning this device for quite a long time. It really pissed me off that Asus announced this device, I believe, back in May, and they've just been like flirting with the 6 gigabytes of RAM and you know, flirting with the public and letting them, you know, feel like, oh, this device is coming out, Snapdragon 821 on the special edition, and it just nothing for months and months and months, and it really pissed me off. Well, I guess the Google Pixel device just beat them to the chase, and they will actually be the first device with a Snapdragon 821 processor. So good job, Asus. You dropped the ball on that. You would have been the first device with an 821 processor, but because you took so long to release your device, Google actually beat you to the punch. I'm trying to find the article here. Let's see, Asus. Sorry guys, I should have been a little bit better prepared. I guess it's not here. But anyway, so going back, Asus has finally announced their device for pre-order. In the US, you have a couple different variants, one of which, let me see, let's go to it right here. This is B&H. Okay, so this is B&H. You could pre-order the Asus Zenfone 3, the Zenfone 3 Deluxe, and the Zenfone 3 Deluxe Special Edition at B&H, Best Buy, Newegg, and directly from Asus. So this is the Zenfone 3 Deluxe that's mainly going to be offered in the United States, and most people are going to wind up buying. This is a $499 device. So this has 64 gigabytes of internal storage, 6 gigabytes of RAM, and a Snapdragon 820 processor. If you want to buy the Snapdragon 821 processor, which is about 10% more efficient than the Snapdragon 820 processor, you need to shell out $799, which I think is way too expensive for that device. So I think the masses and most people are going to go for this one. $499, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 64 GB of internal storage, and a Snapdragon 820 processor. So basically the difference between the 820 and 821, like I said, is basically a 10% efficiency on the 821. So not that much better for me to say, hey, let me spend $800 instead of $500. This does have expandable memory. So if you go with the 64 gigabyte version with expandable memory, I'm not sure why somebody would shell out the $800 for a 10% faster processor with a 256 gigabyte internal storage when you obviously have the means to expand. So why would, I don't know, me personally, I wouldn't spend the extra money for 256 gigabytes of onboard storage when I have the ability to expand with a $20 micro SD card. It just doesn't make financial sense to me. And I think most people are gonna go with this device. Some specs here, 4G LTE, 23 megapixel rear camera, 8 megapixel front facing camera. In some of the videos I've seen so far, the 23 megapixel camera is a Sony sensor. It is a good camera, but not amazing in low light photography on the front and on the back. But it is a very good camera to boot, so I don't want you guys to think it's a bad camera. But again, on the likes of the Galaxy S7 and the S7 Edge, I don't think it would be as good. It's got a 2.15 gigahertz Snapdragon 820 quad-core CPU, 64 gigabytes of RAM, a 5.7-inch AMOLED display. It is only 1080p, so that's one of the drawbacks of purchasing this device. But you have to keep in mind, this is a $500 device. This is not, every flagship now, not only do they want to go above $600, but they want to go to $700 or even $850, and you're paying close to $1,000 after tax. So I would concede having a 1080p display to have this price point. So $500 for a 1080p display, and every other spec on the device is actually on par with a flagship. I think that was the right place to cut corners to keep it at that price point, and I have no problem with a 1080p display. Just keep in mind, like anyone that is a part of T-Mobile, like I am, I'm a T-Mobile customer. If you're gonna go to their new plan, which is their one plan, most of their video content is gonna be, the video quality is gonna be degraded down to 480p or something on that level. And even YouTube and a lot of other channels, they don't even support video over 1080p. So having a 1080p display is definitely not a big deal for me. 3000 milliamp battery with a dual SIM or one SIM with micro SD card expandability. So if you're going for the dual SIM functionality, you will lose the functionality of the micro SD, or if you're going for the expandability, you'll lose the functionality of the dual SIM. I would like to see a lot more manufacturers separate the dual SIM function with the micro SD slot, because now they're just basically making it that you have to choose one or the other, which kind of sucks. What else? It's got USB Type-C, Android Marshmallow 6.0. So one of my biggest, I'm gonna purchase this device because I told you guys I'm gonna buy it. I want to review it for you guys. But one of the biggest drawbacks for me is that it's not rocking Nougat out the box. That it is rocking Android Marshmallow. I was going through some blogs to see if this device would actually be upgradable to Nougat, which it is. It's just a matter of when Asus decides to actually do that. So, excuse me, hopefully that device will be upgraded to Nougat very shortly, so we'll have some of the Nougat features, and one of which was my all-time favorite feature on my Galaxy devices, obviously, is the dual window functionality. I don't believe this has that out the box, so that's one of the reasons why I'm looking at the other devices at this point before I pull the trigger on this. I still have some time because it's still in the pre-order phase. These devices should be dropping by November 1st or a little bit before that, so I'll let you guys know when I get it in the studio for a full review. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. So while I was looking at this device to purchase, I keep getting pulled back to the ZTE. Hold on one second. I keep getting pulled back to the ZTE Axon 7. So the reason why I keep getting pulled back to the ZTE Axon 7 is because it virtually has the same features as the so it virtually has the same features as the Asus Zenfone 3 Deluxe. There's one key feature here that obviously I do like better than the Zenfone 3 Deluxe. So there's some give and takes here. So when we went through the specs of the Zenfone 3 Deluxe, same processor, Snapdragon 820. This one has 4 gigs of RAM instead of 6. So that's a big thing. I was just like, okay, 4 gigs of RAM, but this is $100 cheaper. So it's like, do I go with a device with 6 gigs of RAM, or do I go with a device that's $100 cheaper with 4 gigs? 4 gigs is good. I'm filming right now on a device that has 4 gigs of RAM, and I have very little lag, no stuttering, no nothing like that. So is that worth me, shelling out the extra $100 for an extra 2 gigs of RAM? It does have the dual SIM setup, as well as the micro SD card slot, and again, you have to choose one or the other, whether you want dual SIM, whether you want expandability with the SIM. This one has a 20 megapixel camera with an 8 megapixel front facing camera, so the cameras are somewhat comparable to each other. 23 megapixel on the Asus Zenfone 3 Deluxe, 5.5 AMOLED display, another AMOLED display. This battery is a little bit bigger. It's a 3250 milliamp battery, quick charge 3.0 with a USB Type-C. It has a 32-bit resolution audio, so it does 4K capture. Again, it does have Marshmallow. It has ZTE Passport 2.0, which is a warranty for any damages or breaks to the phone for at least a year. So all in all, this phone is still a compelling device, and it's $100 cheaper. And one of the biggest features that I really liked about this device, it has the front-firing speakers, which a lot of manufacturers right now are really dropping the ball on. They're not really rocking the front-firing speakers. A lot of them have, since HTC went from a front-firing speaker to one up top and one on the bottom, a lot of other manufacturers are following suit with that, and I really would hope a lot of new flagships or mid-range flagships coming out would still rock this front-firing speaker setup and just make it work for them. I know HTC had a few designs where the front-firing speakers was just a little slit right above the screen. You barely saw it, and you didn't lose functionality of the phone, but they kind of did away with that. But right now, this is still a very compelling device for me. And for me to sit there and say, do I spend the $499 for the Asus Zenfone 3 Deluxe with the extra 2 gigabytes of RAM, but I lose the front-firing speaker functionality? I actually think that the look of the Zenfone 3 Deluxe is a little bit better. Also, I don't like the capacitive buttons on this device. I've been hearing a lot of them are too close together. A lot of people don't like that look. They're not backlit, so you really can see it at night. So that's another downfall. But it's like, leave a comment in the comment section below, guys. What do you guys think is better? Paying $100 less with 2 gigabytes of RAM less and front-firing speakers, or paying $100 more, getting 6 gigs of RAM without front-firing speakers, but in my eyes, a better design? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think in regards to that. But this is definitely a head scratcher for me. I'm definitely kind of confused in what I think I should do, because audio is definitely a big deal for me, and not having the ability to have a really strong, punchy audio on the device might make me go for the older device. Another phone that's still on my radar, and it's kind of like that annoying fly that's in the room that keeps flying around and you just can't get rid of it, is the Moto Z Play. So now, I'm on Motorola's website. This is the Moto Z Play Droid Edition, okay? But one of the biggest things about the Moto Z Play, hold on, let's click on it, It has a 3500 milliamp battery with a 1080p display. Okay, so the battery life on this it's insanity. It's bananas. A lot of people are saying it could last 2 days. If you're gonna purchase any of the Moto branded devices, I don't see why you would go with the regular Moto Z. I don't see why you would go with the Moto Z Force and spend $699 or $700. This has the best of all worlds. So I kind of wish, with the exception of the Snapdragon 820. It has a Snapdragon 625 processor, but for everyday use and some people that just go on the internet, social media, like gaming, it's perfectly fine. And with the Moto Z Droid and just the regular Moto Z Unlocked versions, you lose battery. So this is a little bit thicker. You have a 3500 milliamp battery in there, in addition to a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which you do not have on the standard Moto Z. So you get a headphone jack, you get a bigger battery, and you have the ability to add stuff on with the Moto mods. So if you go with the 3500 milliamp battery and the battery pack, you're looking at like almost 3 days of battery life without having to charge. And I think that's just amazing. And this is being offered at, I believe, I want to say $399. I'll make a correction in the description if I'm wrong. It's either $399 or $499. I'm pretty sure it's $399. But for $399, you have the ability to access all the other Moto mods. Just for the expandability of the battery, I think it's worth it for $399. And I don't understand why anyone would buy the Moto Z, the regular Moto Z, for $699, where this is on par or just as good, but with a slower processor. So I'm kind of confused. I really like the ability of this phone. One of the things that, again, is not making me pull the trigger on this is the Moto mods right now. I do like the battery. I don't like the fact that Moto got rid of the front-firing speakers. If it would have still had front-firing speakers, I would have definitely pulled the trigger on this. It has the one speaker on the top, and that's it. That's the loudspeaker. Speaker volume on this is average to mediocre. And for you to get enhanced speaker quality, you have to get that JBL brick on the back of your phone. I just think it's ugly, it's too thick. But with the Moto Mod developer kit out there, I'm hoping somebody will make a battery pack slash speaker that's thinner, that's like similar size to the standard battery pack they have now as a Moto Mod, where it's not that pronounced, and you could use it more for day-to-day use as opposed to that JBL brick, which is just ginormous, and I just think it's too cumbersome. What else? Let's see real quick. Excuse me. Okay, just I have to give credit where credit's due. Phone Arena right here. Phone Arena has a lot of good stories, and has been my main source for getting information in regards to the mobile industry now. So props up to Phone Arena for their stories. I was going to Pocket Now, but I think they're kind of been falling off lately. Yeah, Phone Arena has a lot of great stories. So like we discussed already, Samsung Galaxy Note 7 recall cost them $5 billion in actual money, and not taking into account the actual revenue that they're losing in market share and in their actual stock price. So $5 million. Affordable Alcatel Pixel 4 coming to Canada. I'm not from Canada, so I don't care. The Google Pixel so let's discuss that a little bit. The Google Pixel and the Pixel XL. I watched the debut of these devices, and I just think Google is insane to be pricing it at the price point that they are now. Okay, I know it's a direct competitor for the iPhone, but I just don't see this phone being worth, especially it's like an HTC device. It's basically a rebranded carbon copy of the HTC 10, just in a different form factor. I don't see this device being worth $850. And for the life of me, again, I don't understand why a lot of manufacturers, they seem to take 3 steps forward and then 2 steps back. Why would you make this phone with no expandability? Why wouldn't you have expandable memory on this? Most Android devices, key flagship devices, have expandability, and they're known for expandability. That's why people like them. To have no expandability on this, and basically on top of that, to kind of force you into spending the extra money for the $850 version. If you have no expandability, make your base version 64 gigabytes of memory. Okay, the base version on here is 32 gigabytes. So obviously they know no one's gonna buy the base version of the Google Pixel XL or the Google Pixel, because 32 gigabytes after the operating system takes up about 5. You're lucky if you have 22 to 25 gigabytes of remaining storage for apps, photos, pictures, and all that, and it's just not enough. So your next option up is not even 64 gigabytes. Your next option is 128, which is around $850. No one's gonna pay you $1,000 for this phone. The only people that might do that are those tech geeks that just have to have the latest Nexus or now Google Pixel device. I don't think it's worth $850. I think if they would have been smart, they would have followed suit with some of the Chinese manufacturers that are offering mid-range flagship devices at mid-range prices, offering this at $499 or even $550 or even $600 tops for the XL model, and this would have been a home run for them. But I think this device is going to flop because it's just too expensive. It doesn't have expandability, and I just don't like the look enough for me to drop $850 for this. What else? Alright guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Again, we'll have more information out on the channel. I should be doing an unboxing or at least an update very soon in regards to which mid-range flagship device I wind up picking up. I am gonna go to a unlocked device. I'll make a quick update video when I decide which one I pull the trigger on. I am leaning towards the Asus Zenfone 3 Deluxe, just for price and spec wise and what it's offering compared to the competitors. So I'm probably gonna pull the trigger on that. Be on the lookout for that unboxing. And until then guys, please continue to subscribe and like my videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.